What we're going to talk today about is startup ecosystems, regional ecosystems. We have basically representation from Bulgaria, myself, of course, but also Ali is from Turkey, Daniel is from Romania, and Dimitris is from Greece. So we have here the Balkans, and we're going to speak a bit more about the Balkan startup ecosystems. I think the best thing to do is actually if you guys introduce yourselves very, very quickly.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, my name is Ali Karabey. I'm from Istanbul. I run a VC fund called 212, based in Istanbul. It's a $30 million fund that was established 2 years ago. We made 9 investments so far in the technology space.
Good.
Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm from Bucharest, Romania. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of TechHub Bucharest, which is a co-working space for tech entrepreneurs and tech professionals. We are part of an international network that was started a few years ago by Mike Butcher in London.
Hello everybody, my name is Dimitris Kalavros. I come from Greece. I co-founded Foundation, which is a co-working space, a technology hub and a pre-accelerators facilitator based in Athens. And I have another company, another digital media company called Nest Media. And what we do there is that we create content on demand for brands. So we work on the native advertising industry there.
Good. And myself, I'm Stefan Gantchev. I'm partner at LAUNCHub, a 9 million seed fund based in Bulgaria, active for the last 2 years and with 41 investments until now. So the reason I wanted to gather this panel is we really believe that things have dramatically changed here in Bulgaria. Of course, guys like Nevak started back some long years ago the VC industry in Bulgaria, but things really kind of speeded up the last 2 years with us, with LAUNCHub, and with the guys from 11, the Accelerator 11. So we have really we saw a lot of new startups, a lot of people embracing the entrepreneurship ideas. We have also a great conference now. We have a co-working space, a beta house. So we have like the elements of the ecosystem just appearing and developing. And what I wanted to ask each one of you is to briefly describe how are things in your market, in your country, how developed are they, and let's start with Ali, because I think that Turkey is probably by far the most advanced ones in terms of
I don't know,
at least VC space. We see a lot of VCs.
Not really, actually. I think we are behind on the VC space. I think we have less than 5 or 6 VCs currently active in Turkey. If anything, we have the government grants that are going to the entrepreneurs. That has been done for the last few years, which had been helpful. So it's just a couple of guys in Turkey who've been investing in the technology space on the VC side. I mean, Turkey is interesting because it's 70 million people. Half of them are less than 30 years old, which is a great asset if you can use them, and a great liability if you cannot actually help them start their own careers. The VC investment is still in its early days. It's about $150 million a year, which is nothing when you compare it. I mean, we were talking about Israel this morning. The Turkish per capita VC investment is $1 for every $200 that Israel gets. So just to give you a comparison, I think they've done a tremendous job, obviously, in the last 20 years establishing their VC marketplace, and we are just in our early days. We haven't had huge exits yet. We had a couple of exits, to eBay, to Naspers. So those have been helpful. We have some pretty decent size companies in food delivery, Yemek Sepeti, that General Atlantic invested in, or Trendyol, that Kleiner Perkins invested in. But it's still early days. I think what you were just saying, we have the things in place. I compare it to a cuckoo clock. It's an old cuckoo clock. You have the bird in there. You have some wheels and spins and whatnot. And once in a while they touch each other and the cuckoo comes out. Yeah, okay. It's just not every. It's not frequent enough. So hopefully with more funding, with more entrepreneurs taking the risks and establishing companies, hopefully it will be more frequent.
How about the startups? I mean, we met pretty few Turkish startups, and a lot of them are really focusing on the e-commerce. Is it really something like a very, very strong vertical, or is just maybe an impression from outside? Do you have other verticals, other industries?
I mean, when you look at our portfolio, it's actually pretty telling. We have out of 9 companies, we have 4 e-commerce investments. And and the first 3 investments we made were in the e-commerce space. And the reason for that was, about 70% of the companies we received in our pipeline were e-commerce players. So in the early days, people thought wrongfully that e-commerce was an easy business to get into. And obviously, Turkish middle income is pretty strong, and they've been purchasing quite a bit. So people thought, online retail would be the place to go. And especially with less than 2% of the retail being online, I think people thought that there would be a great potential for e-commerce. In the last 1 year, we've been seeing more and more enterprise plays, software as a service plays, and our last few investments have been in those, and marketplaces. Mm-hmm. So last 4 or 5 investments have been in those verticals, and they've been far more successful than the e-commerce plays because they required less capital, and the markets that they were entering had less competition, and e-commerce was just becoming more and more expensive for them. So enterprise, mobile, marketplaces, software as a service companies have been more successful lately.
Right. Okay, let's move to north, to Romania. And Daniel, tell us a bit more about what's happening in Romania nowadays.
I think in Romania the ecosystem is developing pretty fast. We also have a pretty amazing conference of our own, How2Web, which is happening now for like 5 years. We have a great startup competition, which is Startup Spotlight, and actually last year we had the luck to have as a winner a Bulgarian team, Smart Hand. They had an amazing product, and they were the winners of the competition. Starting with last year, we've developed TechHub, which is an amazing project. Things are working great. We are organizing a lot of events. The co-working space was full after, I think, 2 months since we've opened. And next week, we are launching our first pre-acceleration program together with How2Web. It's called MVP Academy, and here also we have a Bulgarian team in the finalist, which is great.
Awesome. Dimitris, how about Athens?
Greece, Athens, yeah.
Greece, in general.
I mean, the main difference is that we're a really young ecosystem, as you can imagine. So we see ourselves in the very beginning of what we want to become, which is probably a sustainable ecosystem that can eventually be part of our country's economy. The problem is that, as you know, that we had to actually develop and grow this ecosystem during a quite major and historic financial crisis. So imagine that we had no processes, we had no VCs based in Athens, or international VCs that actually want to take a look to the Athenian or the Greek scene 5 years ago. So for the past 5 years, we have managed to start building from the very scratch the whole thing. So a recent research done by Endeavor Greece has shown that we have about 150 startup companies right now in this country. So if you could ask 5 years ago our ecosystem, you will get the answer that back in 2009 we had like 5 or 6 companies. So you can see an enormous growth for the last 5 to 6 years. The main challenge, the way we see right now, the ecosystem, is that we need forward, and we need somehow, let's say, create, as I mentioned before, sustainable business models, sustainable startups. So the problem is that we're trying to build many different components of our ecosystem at the very same time. So at the very same time, we have the kickoff of pre-acceleration and acceleration programs in this country. At the very same time, we have VCs that are actually funded and part of the German program, much like the model you have in Bulgaria, starting to invest money. At the very same time, we have more and more people who want to be part of this ecosystem. So people who are actually first-time entrepreneurs and who have no previous experience, they want to kick off their businesses and they don't know where to start from. So it's more like we have many problems that are quite, let's say, we're expected to have these problems because of the maturity of the ecosystem. But what we believe is that it seems like out of this noise and out of this mass, we're starting to create our very own role models and our very own success stories. A good thing with the Greek ecosystem is that in the last months we have seen the interest of European investors as well. So right now we don't have just local investors that actually invest money in Greek startup companies. Greek startup named Workable HR, which provides an HR solution to recruit your next team members, recently raised the Series A fund led by Greylock, the European law office of Greylock Partners. So there's no doubt that we have come a long way down, but there are many things that need to be done in the years to come, so we can actually have bigger impact in the economy and bigger impact in the regional level as well.
My personal impression from what I saw in Greece is that there's really this turn into an entrepreneurship as an alternative to the secure government jobs. And what is the other impression that I have is that the Greek Jeremy funds are they have higher upper ticket compared to us, for example, here in Bulgaria, LAUNCHub. So they're looking into deals that are a bit later, in a later stage, a bit more developed. But in the same time, you guys are missing funds that will go into like a 50, 100K investment. Is that true? So do you think that like there is a space for guys like us, like LAUNCHub, for example, to jump in there?
In regards to the first question, I used to call the first wave of Greek entrepreneurs, the ones who actually started, I would rather say with me around 2009, 2010, as desperate entrepreneurs. So as you say, we had no other option, or it seemed back then that we had no other option. So somehow we needed to start from somewhere and build something, as simple as that. Right now, I see that we have more people who are actually who try to have a better and deeper understanding of entrepreneurship, not as a one-way road, more like a realistic path for the lives and for the jobs. In regards to the second question, the Jeremy funds in Greece, yeah, they can invest. We have 4 Jeremy funds. So 2 of them, they're investing up to 750K euro, and so we're talking about pre-seed and seed investments. And the other 2, they're investing up to 2 million per company. So it's more mature companies during their growth stage. The problem is that right now, because of we're actually starting to create new companies in this country, there is a gap, as you say, Stefan, in the very first investment round. So we're talking about typical pre-seed or seed investment of which for our ecosystem is around 50 to 150K euro. We don't have many angel investors. That's the first problem, and we don't have a proper organization or some sort of formation so we can tap into and actually talk to these guys. So we have no directory or no AngelList in our country where we can index these people. And at the same time, because, in my opinion, because there's a gap, there's a window for these Jeremy funds, and this window ends next year, at the end of next year. It feels like they want to find more mature companies, so they can invest more money in fewer companies, and they can so they can do some follow-on rounds later on. So the problem is that it seems like there's a mismatch between what the market needs, and by the market I mean first-time entrepreneurs who actually just need 50 to 100k euro, and what the VCs are offering right now.
All right, good. So what I wanted to address as well during this discussion is how we all here can collaborate a bit more and exchange a bit more. We had this discussion with you, Ali, just a couple of hours ago about exchanging teams or exchanging mentors or exchanging successful entrepreneurs that can help companies. What's your opinion on that? I mean, do you see successful entrepreneurs from Turkey coming here, spending some time in Bulgaria, helping or joining a team in a Bulgarian startup, or at least mentoring a startup for a while? Is this something that we have to work on?
I don't think there's any other option. I think this region has to start creating and start delivering finally. When I look at our companies, the successful ones are international already. So we have a company that sells software to Home Depot in the US. We have a company that sells software in 68 countries around the world. And these are the companies who understand. I mean, Turkey is 70 million people, so it's quite sizable, but it's not enough to make a $100 million, $200 million company. So I don't see any other way than collaboration between the companies and the countries and the companies and the investors in this region to create global successful companies. We still lack in Istanbul great talent on the coding side, and it seems that when I go to Middle East or come to Eastern Europe, I see that there's also a lack of markets to sell. So we do have the markets, we lack the talent, you guys have the talent, so I think we should definitely bring it together. If anything, that brings, I think the VC's role is very minimal. I think funding is just the key to the relationship that we start. I don't think just funding can make or break a company. I think many more entrepreneurs will be successful without VC's involvement, and I think that most of the time VCs can be actually hurtful to a company. But if anything, they need to start collaborating with their neighbors and start going international and start thinking international to create bigger companies. And I think that's why when the VC's role is very important, because we need to be pushing them to start those collaboration efforts with their neighboring countries.
So how practically can we do that in a?
Well, Istanbul to Sofia is a 45-minute flight. I couldn't finish my meal coming here, so I don't think we have an excuse. Distance is definitely not the problem, and there's Skype in the worst case. For anyone who has a product that can be sold in Turkey, I'm more than happy to help them out, even if I'm not the investor. I'm more than happy to show that this can be done, to show a business case, it can be done. We have an office, we have spare rooms. If you need an office in Istanbul, you have it today. So we need to start at some point. I really don't like to compare ourselves to Silicon Valley. I think we need to be looking at Israel, and we need to be looking at the cooperation that they have among the VCs, among the entrepreneurs, among the mentors in Israel, which we, for some reason, don't have in our region yet, and it needs to start yesterday. And I'm more than happy to open our offices and to give our help to any entrepreneur here who wants to come to Istanbul. And again, we don't have to be investors. I'm more than happy to help just to prove that it can be done.
Good. Yeah. Daniel, you mentioned you have a Bulgarian team joining your pre-acceleration program. So
Yeah.
is it another way of like boosting the collaboration between our countries or between our ecosystems?
I think the collaboration between Bulgaria and Romania, it's working pretty well. I mean, the communities are very well connected. We always had the great pleasure of having you guys as mentors in our programs. And also I know that there are a few Romanian entrepreneurs that are involved with mentoring the teams here in Bulgaria. Definitely we need to work together if we want to achieve something here in the region. And again, everyone in Bulgaria is more than welcome to be a part of what's happening in Bucharest. Our co-working space is always open for you guys, and we really appreciate the support you're giving us with mentorship and, I don't know, helping our teams. And from what I know, there are a few Romanian teams that are, so they used to be part of LAUNCHub or 11 in the past.
Absolutely.
Which is a great thing.
Yeah. Dimitris, I'm joining you actually next week. Apparently it's a short notice invitation, but I'm joining you to see some startup pitches in Athens. So this is another way to exchange more. Do you have as well, as we understand, this is called for Bulgarian startups and also for regional startups. So we have apparently office space in Istanbul, we have office space in Romania. Of course, teams can join in our offices as well in Sofia and LAUNCHub, not for very long. And Dimitris, do we have some space for startups in your co-working space,
Yes,
foundation as well?
We're located in the city center of Athens, really nice, cozy industrial space. So please, if you're around, or if you want to pitch me, if you want to have any connections to the Greek ecosystem, please do email me. I'm online all over the place in every single social network. But jokes aside, from a VC or from an ecosystem perspective, I think we all have a critical mass problem. But by that I mean that we have small ecosystems. I mean, Turkey is a massive market and a massive ecosystem, so it's a different story, obviously. But Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, there's smaller ecosystems. So from a VC perspective, I don't see how a major VC, European VC player would see a deal flow, a quality deal flow coming from our countries if they do not consider us as a region, as a regional offering. So I'm already trying to push some good ideas from the Greek ecosystem to Stephane as well, and we're open to exchange startups and see if we can work together also for regional events. So exchange of mentors, exchange of knowledge, because collective knowledge, obviously, we're doing the very same thing, and we're trying to build our ecosystems, and these ecosystems are in the very same stage. So obviously we can join forces and we can work together for the better of the region. And that's obviously, I think that also on the European level, the Commission also is trying to understand how we can work together on a more regional rather than national level from now on, and how we can join forces and how we can move forward together, as you say.
Well, we might be missing the bigger picture here. Because I think, you're talking about today WhatsApp with 400 million people, Facebook being more than a billion people, billions of messages being sent through WhatsApp and 50 people doing it, right? We were listening today. So we shouldn't even be thinking about the region anymore. I mean, Turkey is nothing, right? 70 million people, it's much bigger than Bulgaria and Greece combined, but it's still nothing. I just said, I have a company that sells to Atlanta from a dinky little office in Istanbul. And another of our companies is getting its software written in India. So that tells you your competition as well as your potential is global right now. So we can't be thinking about Bulgaria, Greece, Romania, our region, what are we going to do yet. We should collaborate. We should use these tools, if anything, to make these companies strong enough to go global.
Yeah.
The companies need to think global. Even if they will never go global, they need to start thinking that way because the competition is at their doorstep. I'm pretty sure Amazon will be knocking on Turkey's door soon. And so the only reason they're not is because we have all these tax regimes that it makes it expensive for them to enter Turkey, which will go away at some point.
Yeah.
So we need to start thinking global. I mean, we should build regional, but we need to aim global. We need to sell global. Our software, our services, our products, our marketplaces have to be at global level, quality-wise, if this region will be successful, I think.
Absolutely. Actually, this is also at LAUNCHub what we're doing when we meet a team. One of the first questions and one of the first things that we're doing is as well like evaluate the going global potential of a given team, of a given company. I guess we have to end up here. It's an interesting discussion. We can continue longer, but you know, people are already a bit tired. We have 3 startups coming on stage and pitching. This is the finalist of the mini seed camp competition. And Pavel has a question, so okay, we'll have a couple of questions and then we'll move on to the final element of the program, the pitching, the mini seed camp pitching.
Thank you very much for a special exception. I mean, I wish the German guys from this morning were here right now listening to, you know, Greece hugging Turkey, Bulgaria hugging Romania, and all chasing after the same pocket of money, which is the EIF, and thanks God they exist, right? How, in reality, maybe a question to Ali, who I know just closed a fairly international round, expansion round, follow-on round. How does it actually work when you jump in the trench and try to, you know, syndicate such cross-border operation? You know, at the end of the day, you know, do you plan it or it just comes out that way? And you know,
I wish I could say I plan it that way, but it's kind of out of necessity because in Turkey there is no fund. There's only, let's say, early bird and 3TS at this point who can write checks bigger than $2 million at this point. So there's a big gap between 2 and 5 million, and then the PE guys go in. So I probably spend half of my time on the plane because I need to go to London, to US, lately Japan, Doha, Qatar, Dubai, to see if anyone will come and invest in our country. And obviously it's kind of it's very tough because, you know, you go out there, you tell them about Turkey, how great it is. They show you CNN, how Twitter was outlawed, how YouTube was shut down, how your prime minister punched someone lately, and someone filmed it. So it's quite tough. I mean, it's a new ecosystem. There aren't that many investors. There are few entrepreneurs. There haven't been great billion-dollar exits, and the markets is against you, and then the politics is not really helping. And you still have to go out there and, you know, knock on people's doors. I probably do it more than my entrepreneurs do, because they have to focus on their businesses, and we need to go keep on raising funds. I thought when we closed the fund, I'd be done raising funds for a while, but I didn't know it just started then, because, you know, we need to get next rounds at the table for the companies that we invested in for follow-on rounds, which has been a tough battle so far. In the case you mentioned, we invested together with 3TS, so that has been very helpful. And EBRD, we also have a co-investment with so far.
Good. Well, thanks guys.